We can get started. For those of you that that are just joining, if you can mute your computers, that would be great. And then we will let you know at the end when it's time to have the Q&A, and then you can unmute. So I think we're ready to get started, Matt, if you want to take it away.
Absolutely. All right. So thank you, everyone, for making the time. I'm glad we got such a big turnout. That's super exciting. As Nora mentioned, we're just going to kind of go through, some of the basics of how to get yourself set up as a new Macy's Style Crew member, and then how to post and make sure that all of the activity is being tracked, and all of the fun stuff that needs to happen does happen. So really kind of getting started. If you guys haven't seen already the Macy's Style Crew on Macy's.com, this is the Macy's Style Crew on Macy's.com. You'll all, as soon as your account has been created and approved, will have access to create your own storefront. And that's really your own page here on Macy's.com, as you can see with Mercedes here, where you're able to customize and add your own look, with your profile image, cover photo, and all of the content that you create, videos and photos, and that you post to the Style Crew becomes part of your storefront. So people can discover you on Macy's.com. They can browse some of the looks and some of the, the collections that you've put together, and shop directly from you as a Macy's Style Crew ambassador. So these storefronts are really a critical piece of the whole program. They'll definitely be, something that you'll want to share out with your audiences on social media, or your friends and family, because anytime somebody comes into your storefront and then goes on to make a purchase on Macy's.com, that's something that you get credit for. So think of this as kind of your evergreen link that you can send to people and have them come shop from you. So setting this up, as Nora mentioned, we have both a web app as well as a native mobile app. The functionality for both is all the same, with one exception. When it comes to sharing your posts out to social media, we do recommend using the native mobile app, so the Storefront by TVP app, and that's available for iOS and Android. You can download that from either your Google Play Store or from your iOS App Store. Just look for Storefront by TV Page, and you should find it. It's got a little black logo with a grayscale storefront on the front of it. But like I said, all of the functionality, with the exception of sharing, is exactly the same. And when we get to the sharing portion of this, I'll pop into the Storefront app and show you guys what that looks like and what the differences are. But you are able to sign into the web app directly from the Style Crew homepage. So if that's something you want to bookmark, just Macy's.com/Style Crew. It's a good way for you to always get into that mobile app. Oops, and I am already logged in, so I apologize about that. There we go. So if you hit Ambassador Sign In from the homepage, you'll see a sign-in page like this, and then you'll be able to put in your username and password. And your username is going to be your email address that you use to sign up for the program. And when you sign up for the program, part of the application is providing a password. If you ever forget what that password is, or if you're not able to log in, you can always hit the Forgot Password link, and you'll just punch in your email address and it'll send a link to reset your password. If for whatever reason you don't get that email from the system, one of two things is probably the culprit. Number one, it's gone into your spam filter, or number two, you may have provided an email address that is different than what you used when you originally signed up. So if you have multiple email addresses, and you don't get those emails, maybe try one of the other ones to see if that's what you use to sign up.
I don't know why I listen to. I can go back and listen to this. This is crazy because I can hardly tell what they're saying.
Am I coming through okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Perfect. So this is what the ambassador application looks like. This is the workflow. You'll have a side menu up here, and this is what it looks like from your desktop. This is mobile responsive. So same thing. If you're using this from a mobile phone, you can always click on the three little little hamburger menu there to get into the side menu and get into all of the different functionality. The first thing that you're going to want to do once you get set up is to set up that storefront. So within the storefront section, as I mentioned earlier, you can upload a profile photo. If you want to customize the cover photo, you can, although there's one that's been created and approved by Macy's here that's provided for you, and you're certainly free to use that. Your display name, leave that as is, but please fill out your bio. So your bio is going to be just all about you and why people would want to shop, your looks and your collections on Macy's.com. You can include links to your social media handles. So this is a good way for people who discover your content through Macy's.com to also discover you on social media. So you'll want to include your links here. This does not set up the social sync. So it's just an important distinction. You can set up your link to your Instagram or to your Facebook here, but that is just for people to discover you on those social media networks. The social sync will be another piece that we cover right now, actually. So once you have your storefront set up, the next thing you're going to want to do is get that social sync set up for you. So in social sync on the side menu, this is where you can add your different social media accounts so that your engagements on social media are captured and they will show up in your performance data. And there's something that can be used to look at your performance and to see how people are doing on different social networks, how your posts are doing. It's a great way to learn about your audience and start to continue to create content that performs on social well as sells well on Macy's.com. So in order to set up your accounts, it's all pretty straightforward. I'll disconnect this so you can see. Connecting with Meta, this gives you the opportunity to connect both Instagram and Facebook. So you can go through and it's going to ask you to log in or authenticate onto your Facebook account. Now, an important thing to note with Meta, and it's kind of the one special one, your Facebook account is kind of the doorway into all of the different Meta profiles that you have. So you want your Instagram account to be linked to the personal Facebook account that you log in with first. And then you're also going to need a couple things on Instagram to make sure that that Instagram can be synced. So your Instagram account is going to need to be set up as a business account, which is just a button you can press on Instagram, and it needs to be linked to a business page on your Facebook account. So we do have a special video that walks through exactly how to do both of those things. And Nora, if you have that, we can make sure that we send that out to everybody after. But it does walk through, and we're always happy to help Nora and the team. And then support is always happy to help if you have any issues getting those social syncs set up. But again, you just go through and authenticate, connect your Facebook. You can choose if you have Instagram and your Facebook pages, which ones you want to connect. So if you want to connect or disconnect one of those networks, you can do so just through the check marks. Connecting with YouTube, it's just as simple as, again, logging into your YouTube there and giving permission. TikTok, same thing, nothing special with TikTok, just authorize the app. And then same thing with Twitter. Just authorize the app there. So you can just go through, and once you do that, what'll happen is we'll scan your accounts and we'll start pulling in posts that include the Macy's hashtags. So we're not gonna look at any posts that don't include those Macy's hashtags. We're just gonna capture engagement data from people that like, comment, or share on your posts that include either hashtag I work at Macy's or hashtag Macy's Style Crew. So that's, those are the things that'll start to show up. We'll also see how many followers you have for all of your different networks. and be able to pull that in as well, so you can see your engagement rates and how well your content is performing across those different networks. So once you've got your storefront set up and your social sync set up, the next thing to talk about is posting content to the Macy's Style Crew. Now, you can post either videos or photos. Just for this exercise, I'll go through a photo, but the workflows are very much the same. So when you click on photos from the side menu, you'll be able to hit the plus button to add a new photo. The first thing you're going to want to do is add a title and a description. You'll then want to select the category that this photo, or in the case of a video, that this video is about. And it should align with the product categories that you're looking to promote. So if you're promoting a certain product, whatever product category that falls in, that's what you'll want to select. It's also important to note that the title and description are the way that people are going to discover your content on Macys.com or even on Google search. So these posts to Macys.com that live on your storefront, people can discover them when they go out and make a Google search about a certain product that you may have promoted or created a video for or created a photo for. And people will discover that based on what you put in the title and description. So it's always good to use the name of the product, or the brand of the product in the title and description, and just make it really descriptive around the product so that people can help to discover that. Don't do what I did and just write title and description, because people won't be able to discover your content. Then if your content is around a certain challenge or campaign, you'll be able to select the campaign that's for directly from the drop-down menu. So you can leave that as NA if it's not for a specific campaign, or if it is for a specific campaign, just select that from the drop-down menu. And that'll always be reviewed and approved by the team as they're moderating content for the different campaigns. Go ahead and click next. And then you select the product that you're promoting. So you can browse all of the products in the catalog. You can search for a web ID or a SKU. You can search by product name, by brand. There's all sorts of different ways that you can search. And then once you find the product that you're looking for, just hit the plus button. That'll add it to your post. You can add multiple products, although we recommend keeping it as concise and relevant to what's in the content as possible. Click next, and finally you choose your photo or your video. So you upload the photo or the video. It'll do its thing. It uploads and it processes. As soon as it's done processing, you can click done, and you will see that this will now be published on Macys.com to your storefront. So it'll show up in your storefront. You can always grab the link directly to that page right from here. So if you just want to get the link and share that out, text it out to somebody, send it via WhatsApp, or just check it out yourself, you can get the link there. You can also change the thumbnail if this were a video from the options. So you can do that. And you can share this out to social media immediately once it's been published as well. Now you can see here on the web app that we just have Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest available to share to. That's really the big difference between the web app and the native mobile app. On the native mobile app, the different social media networks, they give you a lot more ability to share from an app as opposed to from the web. So like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, etc. They don't let you share linked posts. They want you to share directly, so you need the app for that. So when you're logged into that storefront app, you'll see a lot more buttons there that you can share to, and you can share those out directly to any of the social media networks. But sharing to the social media networks is as simple as just hitting the button, whether you're on the web app or the native mobile app, and just completing the post and sharing it out. One important thing to note, if you're on or if you're sharing to like an Instagram story, or if you're sharing to to your TikTok, is the way that you link people back to either your storefront, to the post, or to the products directly. And it's really depends on how you want to set it up. We would recommend sending people back to the storefront or to the post directly. As I mentioned, you can get the link to the post directly from right here. Or if you would rather send people to your storefront, let's say in a link in bio situation, you can always get the link to your storefront directly from the side menu. and you can use that and make sure that that's in your Instagram bio, your TikTok bio, etc., so that people can follow back to Macy's.com and engage with the content, either engaging on your storefront or engaging with the video or photo itself on Macy's.com, because that's how you get credit for the sales. That's how the sales show up for you in your analytics, and you can see that that's something that was attributed to you. So it's always important to make sure your customers are following that link back. Excellent. A couple other things to note here. You have your performance here in the performance section. Now, for all of you, you've all been assigned to different tiers. So your tier will show up. I'm a test account, so I have no tiers here. But your tier will show up, as well as your different performance goals, if relevant or if applicable, that have been set for you. So you'll see, if you're sorry. Oh, it sounded like somebody had a question. Sorry, if you'll see your tier as well as your engagement rate goal and your sales goal, if applicable here, and then you'll be able to track your progress toward your goal on a monthly basis. So in the month of May, you'll see how many sales you have, what percentage of your goal you've achieved so far, what your rank is amongst your peers. And same thing with conversion rate and your social engagement activity as well. So social engagements are likes, comments, and shares on the different social media networks. So when people engage with your posts, as long as they include the Macy's hashtags, hashtag I work at Macy's and hashtag Macy's Style Crew, people like, comment, and share, that'll all show up here on your performance report, and you'll be able to track that in. Now, it does take about 24 hours for the somebody to like something on social media and then have it show up in your account. Same thing with a sale. Once a sale happens, because data is validated and processed and all that fun stuff, but it will show up for you within 24 hours on your performance report. Perfect. And Nora, is there anything else that you wanted me to take the team through before we open it up for questions?
No, but you know what, before we open it up for questions, I might just pose a couple in here in chat first, and then we'll open it up live. There was a good question about like the difference in Meta between like a creator account and a business account, and like I don't know if we can go back to Social Sync and just spend a little bit more time
yeah, absolutely,
about like the different accounts and maybe some of the nuances. It sounds like with Meta in particular, this group has like multiple Instagram accounts that are tied back, and you kind of talked a little bit about it, about everything kind of lives under your home Facebook account. But if you could maybe walk them through some of the steps that might need to happen if they have multiple accounts that they need to set up a page for.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So there's a couple things, and I apologize if any of my friends or family have posted anything silly, but I want to show you guys the settings. So in your Facebook, this is kind of like I mentioned, that doorway into all of the things Meta. So when you authenticate, when you log in, to Facebook, your Facebook account is going to be what you're logging in with, or your personal Facebook. And there's a couple things that you want to make sure happen. So if you're going to need a business page, so I created a test page, as you can see here, that is linked to my Instagram. So you can, if you don't have a business page set up, you can just go to create from that little 9-dot menu there, and you can create a page and just go through a quick wizard to create a page for whatever is relevant to you and what you're promoting. Again, this page isn't where people need to go and engage with your content and where you need to post to. It's just necessary to be tied so that your Instagram shows up in the Facebook API or the Meta API, and we're able to see it. So once you've got your page created here within Facebook, you want to make sure that it's linked to your Instagram account that you want to sync. And you can link it to multiple Instagram accounts if you want. So in the page down at the bottom on the left-hand side, there's settings. And somewhere in here, there it is, there's Instagram settings. And you can connect your Instagram account to this page. And since this page is part of your personal Facebook profile and then connected to your Instagram account, through that avenue, your Instagram account will be visible to us through that social sync. Now on Instagram, for you to be able to do that, the Instagram account needs to be a business account. So in Instagram, in order to do that, just from your profile, on your settings, you can switch to a business account. And then going to your point, Nora, what it asks you is, are you a creator or are you a business? And from a technical perspective, it doesn't matter what you select there. We'll be able to see it either way. But you're free to choose, whatever you want to set it up as. I think most people, that are creators are setting it up as creator accounts. There are probably some tools that Instagram makes available to you based on that selection, that may differ slightly. But from what I've found, I set mine up as a creator type business account. And I found actually that it's some kind of cool insights that Instagram gives you once you do that. It doesn't change anything else on your profile. You don't appear any different. You don't get the cool blue tick either, which is kind of sad for me. I was hoping to get one, even though I've got like 3 followers. But you do have that. It's just a different type of account. So once you've got that business account set up, whether it's either creator or business, that's what'll allow it to be seen. So it's really just doing that, making sure that the Instagram is a business account, and then that it's linked to the the business page that's connected to your Facebook account that you authenticate against, or that you log in with.
Wonderful. I'm just going to hop on here for just a quick second. Can you keep this page open? I just wanted to call out one thing, because this is a question that comes up. People sometimes ask, like, where am I supposed to be sharing out my storefront by TV page link? If you want to share it out on Instagram, Matt, if you can just highlight in the bio section is where you want to drop that link. So Matt, if you can click into your actual Instagram, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, I just want to show them where it's going to show. So if you drop it in there, you'll see right under Matt, under public figure, he has that link. So again, if you're creating content that you're sharing out for the program, you want to make sure that you're driving your shopper to be able to purchase whatever it is that you're talking about in your posts. So the way to do that is through the link in bio on Instagram.
Yep.
Some of the other social channels are going to allow you to be able to drop a link in text. Instagram is a little bit different in that you have to drop it in your bio. You can't actually make it linkable.
Yeah.
Somebody here in the chat is asking about the use of a link tree. Yes, you
absolutely
have other links that you want to share out beyond just Style Crew. You can definitely use a link tree. And then one other thing, Matt, that I did just want to call out before we open up to broad questions was, you may have touched on it, but I'm wondering if we can just like go over it one more time. So I know we have social sync, which is important because that is how we sort of like track the social movements. That is different than the places to put your social media, your account. So if you can just kind of, Matt, again, just sort of walk through that, just so everybody is aware like what that means and why you have to do both if you want it to show up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, going back to the app here, social sync, what this does is this allows us to see the data, when you use a certain hashtag or a certain, like when you post on behalf of Macy's Style Crew, that's what's going to put the data for you, here within your performance section. So you want to do that so that your performance data will show up on social media. The other part, the storefront, links to like your Instagram and your Facebook and your Twitter and all that fun stuff. What that does, that adds the links here on your storefront itself. And so when people find your page here on Macy's.com, they're also able to discover you on social media. And this is a way to grow your following and discover you through other avenues as well.
Can we keep the mics muted? Because it's background noise. So if you can check down to make sure that you're on mute, that would really help us. You will be doing a Q&A section. Someone is talking to a customer. If you can please mute.
Matt, I don't know, can you mute all of the participants aside from Nora?
Let me see.
And then we could use the raise the hand feature for questions.
Let me see if I'm able to do that. Doesn't look like I can do that.
Okay, so I'm going to answer these last few questions. There's a few questions as it relates to Pinterest. Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but we can sync social syncing of Pinterest doesn't, like, we can't social sync Pinterest, but you can put it up on your storefront, right?
That's correct. So right now, you can absolutely add your Pinterest to your storefront, and you can get customers from Pinterest. So sales that come from Pinterest would absolutely be counted. It's just the social engagements that happen. There is no social sync with Pinterest right now, so it's a good distinction, Laura.
Wonderful. Adrian, I'm going to man the chat. If you want to look at raised hands, we're going to go ahead and open it up now to questions on the platform, on social sync, on the product feed, any sort of questions that you have. We have Matt from TVP, so it's great to get him to answer directly.
Sure. Jackie F, Chicago.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. So I was wondering with like social sync, I see like the sales, but the engagement on social, that's not coming up. Is that something that takes like a little bit of time after it's synced?
It does. It can take a little bit of time. So if you've just synced it, I would give it a few hours because it does take a little bit of time for that information to come in. And then keep in mind, it's also going to look to see it's only going to look at posts that have the correct hashtags on it, and it's not going to count engagements that happened in the past. It's only engagements going forward. So it's going to pull in like your followers. That's what you'll see kind of show up first, and then as new engagements happen, as new likes and shares and comments happen, those will start to trickle in. But the old likes and shares and comments that you had before the social sync, those won't be captured.
Got it. And it only takes in account stuff that has the 2 hashtags that we're supposed to use.
Yeah. And technically it will take in if you only have one of the hashtags. But from a program perspective, it's you definitely want to use both hashtags.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Sure. Nola, you are next.
Hi, I just wanted to have a quick question. I'm a level 3 ambassador, and I just wanted to know, do we need to create a separate page for the Instagram feature, or should we use like our already active account, or what's the thing there?
Nora, I'll let you handle that. It's more of a business thing. From a technical perspective, it doesn't matter.
I was reading through the chat, so I missed the actual question. Can you pose it again?
Yeah, she was asking if you need to create a separate Instagram page, or one that's already existing.
Sure. So there's a couple different ways to go about doing that. You can use an existing account. The only thing that you would have to be comfortable doing is turning it on into like a business or a creator account. It can't be a private account. But we also do have ambassadors that choose to create something separate to keep all of their style crew work separate from their personal lives. So there's really not a right or a wrong answer. It's really whatever, it's really personal preference. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
You're welcome. Okay, Sol?
Good morning. I'm a level 3 ambassador. My question is because you mentioned that we need to transfer to a business page. I'm doing the transfer right now to business page, but then when I go to my Instagram, it doesn't say business page, it says professional page. Is it the same?
It's the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Julia?
Hi, I have a question. So I've had multiple people buy directly from my storefront, but the sales aren't showing up on my end. Only like a select few of sales are showing up. So I don't know, like, is there a reason that could be?
Yeah, and it's good timing. I'm actually working on kind of an FAQ article, on exactly that. That we'll be sending out to the Style Crew team later today. There are a couple reasons that can happen. There's a number of different things. Somebody could be using an incognito browser or have something set up on their browser that is blocking cookies, or like different ad blockers will stop the ability to track sales. If somebody views your storefront and then clears their cookies, that could do it. There's also different checkout methods that aren't captured. So if somebody checks out on the mobile app, that's not something that we can see, unfortunately. Also, we're looking into if they check out via Klarna or other methods, there may not be the ability for us to track those sales. So there's a number of different things that consumers can have, or different ways that they can check out that's not capturable. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be one of those different things.
So if someone uses the Macy's app, it won't count.
Yeah, correct. Now it is something that we're working with Macy's to get tracking into that. But as of today, it's not something that we can capture.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Mindy?
Did you say Mindy? I didn't.
Yep, you're up.
Okay, Nora, so I've asked this question a couple times, but I don't know if anything has been changed. We're not able on our new Macy's phone, not our personal, but our company phone, to get the storefront app. We're not permitted to download anything from the Apple Store. So I am using my personal phone, but I know Macy's would probably like us to use the Macy's phone for this. So what are we going to do about getting that
customer
app?
So Mindy, I totally hear you. And yes, we are Style Crew and we run the program itself and the platform, but we don't have any pull as it relates to the Macy's in-store devices. We've bubbled that up to the customer experience team under Mark Mastronardi, and that team as of last week has told us that they're still working on that. So that has to be pushed out. I mean, you can bring that up to your people leaders who can then drive that through the customer experience team to maybe put some pressure there. But unfortunately, there's not too much that we can do on our end because we don't have that relationship. So sorry about that.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know that. I thought that, it's a Macy, we're doing this for Macy. So I would think that they would want us to have it on that phone.
Hey, listen, I think that they probably do. Unfortunately, you know how things probably are in the Macy's world. It takes a little bit longer than it should.
Yes.
But yeah, unfortunately, I wish that I had that kind of pull. I love that you think I should have that kind of pull. I think I should too.
Okay.
But I actually don't. So we will bubble it up, but continue to push on your end with your people leaders, and let's see if we can't get it figured out.
Okay, guys. All you have to do is pick the phone number, then you just get the point.
I think somebody still is not muted. So if you're with customers, if you can just mute your phone, we'll go on to the next question. It looks like Veronica Cruz has her hand up.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Matt. Thanks for taking the time to answer our questions.
Absolutely.
I know you touched upon this, but I just want to be clear. So you're saying that we can have multiple professional IG accounts tied to one
It doesn't let you cancel like that.
page?
Sorry,
Why it doesn't let me cancel?
it's hearing some other noise there. Give me 1 second.
Matt
One
Hannon,
second.
can you mute the iPhone that's all the way on the bottom? And it looks like Natifa is on as well, so I just don't want any background noise.
Thank you. So I wanted to be clear if we can tie multiple professional IG accounts to one business Facebook account.
As far as I know, yes. Now, I haven't done it, so I kind of want to go test that out and validate that with you before I give you a hard yes on that, but I believe so. But what I'll do after this call is I'm going to go create another Instagram account and test that out and let you know for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Does anyone have any other questions? Nola, I see your hand is up, but not sure if that was from before or if you have another question.
Yes, I do believe that is up from before. Let me change that now.
No worries. Nora, is there any questions in the chat or anyone else in the call that needs any questions answered?
Hold on 1 second. I think we're good. I guess basically if anybody has any specific questions or concerns, don't be afraid to email us. Our email is macystylecrew@macys.com. Again, if you need anything, please reach out to us. Oh, it looks like we do have one other question. Is it Seb?
Serby.
Serby, oh, I'm sorry.
All good. Yeah, so Nora, you mentioned in the chat that there are designated times throughout the year to review the ambassadors and tier levels. So when would you say is the next review session for this?
Adrian, I'm going to defer to you because it's a little bit different with this start of the program because we're not like in a traditional like Q1, Q2 because we've launched the program in March. March 22nd to be exact. Adrian, do you have any insights that you want to share out as it relates to the looking at tiers?
So only for this year of 2022, we will be looking at level 3s that could possibly be level 2s in the July-August timeframe, but currently level 1 is all set. They have a yearly commitment, so that level 1s will be looked at again on a yearly time frame, but for levels 3s to jump to level 2s, we will be looking at in July through August.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nora, it's Mindy again. I do have a question since I've never actually, I know Storefront and I know Style Crew, but I've never really done anything where I've sold through it. So can you just run through when someone goes to the link and then that takes them to Macy's, does it take them to Macy's.com page where they could purchase and then I would get that sale similar to Sales Floor in that respect where we're taking them to our personal web page and then it goes to Macy's.com, they purchase it and then we get the sale. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the life cycle would be like, let's say somebody is viewing your content on Instagram, they would look at your piece of content, your post you would say something about the product and then basically direct them to your link in bio. They would click the link in bio. And Matt, I don't know if you can show them the hub.
Yeah, I was just
Crew
about to,
hub.
yep.
So if Matt was bringing somebody here, it's going to take them to the Macy's.com page. So again, let's pretend this is Amber. If you love that shoe and you clicked on that, it'll take you to the PDP page. Right? Like, and there's the shoe. And then the person would pick their size, pick their color, add it to bag, check out. And then one thing, because I know people ask this all the time, like they just made a purchase, it's not showing up in their analytics. It's not live, meaning like Matt's team has a feed, Matt, that comes in like every 24, 48 hours. So like,
yeah, well,
for
yeah,
the sale to show up.
Yeah, so the sales are processed on a daily basis, so they do come into the system in the database, but then there's validation that happens against it, and data, all sorts of stuff that's way beyond my pay grade, that happens against it, and then they show up in the dashboards within 24 hours. So in a 24-hour, every 24 hours, the sales are processed and pushed into the analytics or the performance dashboard.
Okay, and then also Nora and Matt, does this have any relationship to my my client? And in other words, will we know who the customer was as well, who purchased?
No. This is a completely different system. So the Salesforce system is different, where you know who the customer is, you know what they're buying. This is literally, it could go viral and somebody in a different state who you've never met before could be buying it. So that's kind of how the two different programs exist. Like Salesforce is really more for clienteling, and you know who those customers are and you're driving that. Style Crew is really about that viral reach, right? Like if you put your link in bio, you don't know who's clicking on it, but hopefully you're changing the perception of Macy's, and people are liking the content that you create, and it's inspiring them to go to Macy's.com and make a purchase. So Style Crew is not necessarily supposed to be used as a clienteling tool. That's what Salesforce is for.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. There's a couple of other questions here that I do just want to address. Someone's asking about colleagues that have applied but have not heard a response back yet. I would say it depends on when you applied. If you applied like way back at the start of the relaunch, you may want to check your email, in particular, maybe your spam or your junk folder. There have been some ambassadors that have incomplete applications. We've been trying to email a number of colleagues asking them to finish up their application for enrollment consideration. So please, if it's been a while and you're waiting for a response, please email us. Chances are that we're trying to reach you too. And if you've just applied, like as in like the last few days, it does take a little bit of time for us to sort through all of the applications. We also need to verify employment on the back end to make sure that you truly are a Macy's colleague, that you're in good standing with the company, that you've been working for the company for 6 months. So if you're hearing from other colleagues or coworkers that they haven't gotten in yet, those are some possible reasons. But again, please have the individual asking these questions email us at macystylecrew@macys.com. Okay.
Nicole, it looks like you have your hand up.
Yes, hi, nice to meet you, Matt. I'm on the Style Crew corporate team with Nora and Adrian, and I'm learning about the TV page platform. Quick question on the cookies. So you mentioned that might be a reason why sales aren't showing up. I know with the new iOS update, like they have a pop-up that says like, do you want to be tracked or do you not want to be tracked? And I would guess that most people do click like, no, I don't want to be tracked. Does that impact their sales not showing up in the back end?
That absolutely.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Dr. Amber Leons.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Lions, thank you. I am brand spanking new to the program and excited to be here. However, I'm not on the store side. I work in supply chain, which is super, as you can imagine. We're trying to get y'all the stuff in the store. Super crazy busy. And it's impacting my ability to be able to work during the day to complete some of the stuff I need to do to get all set up. I don't have a problem doing it on my own time, but unfortunately I'm not able to, according to the protocol of the program. Is there a possible connection with maybe someone that's been in the program longer to buddy up that's on the store side that knows more of the store side of what's happening? Because I'm just not familiar with what's happening in the store itself.
So you're looking, just to make sure that I'm understanding, so you're working not in a store location.
I'm in the DC.
You're in the DC, okay, and you're looking to partner with somebody in the store just to better understand the program, or what specifically?
Yeah, how to actually you getting the once I get familiar with how to set up the TV platform and all this stuff, I'm very familiar with social media. I put out content all the time, but the whole connection of it all, how it impacts sales, all that kind of stuff. I just really am not familiar with what's happening, even as far as what you want to put on your page. I want help on that side. So someone who is in the store that knows more of what's out there, what we would be looking for people to possibly buy or from the store. That's the connection that someone that has that knowledge to connect with me.
Yeah, no, I think that that's a really valid point. I don't know that we have anybody, specifically that we can set you up with buddy, but I do.
Hey, Nora, I'll volunteer.
Rachel says she can help. Thank you.
Yeah,
right.
I'll volunteer. I'm a store manager, so I can have easy access to like the best sellers in the store, and then I could walk you through everything, so we could get you going with a quick Zoom call or something. So I'll send you.
Awesome.
Wait. Sorry. This actually all has to run through the Macy's corporate team. So I really appreciate you volunteering. But there's like a whole corporate leadership team that needs to talk through this. So again, I really appreciate that. Amber, if you can email us at Macy's Style Crew, Macy's.com. We're going to take this back to the leadership team, because this is actually, because your request is actually something that the team needs to think through a little bit more, because I think that when the program was designed, it really started out with originally corporate colleagues, and then we opened it up to stores, and now we have people on different jobs and different positions. So this is like a true learning experience. So again, I appreciate everybody wanting to jump in, but this is actually something that we have to figure out at the corporate level for like what the strategy is go forward, because I'm sure there's going to be more people like Amber that come through the ranks that need this level of support. So if you wouldn't mind just emailing us, and then we will reach out to you one-on-one with the best course of action. So thank you for bringing this to our attention.
No problem. Thank you. Will do.
Somebody's asking about if they can take photos or videos when they're off the clock. You cannot. All your Style Crew work needs to be completed while you are on the clock, unless of course you ask your people leader and you get permission, then it is okay. Otherwise, any work that you do for Macy's, whether it's checking your email for Style Crew newsletters, whether it's doing your onboarding training, if you're taking a photo, if you're posting a photo on behalf of Macy's, all of that needs to be accounted for. You're not allowed to work off the clock. You have to be paid for everything that you are doing. So again, you're going to want to bubble up your needs to your people leaders. And then somebody's asking about photographing in front of recognizable places. That is all still accurate. So again, if you're standing in front of, you know, something recognizable, like the Apple building, and you're getting the Apple logo in the background, you can't post that if you're tying your post back to Macy's, because you didn't get permission from Apple to have their branding in the background. So just be mindful of where you're taking your photos. You may be standing in front of something that is trademarked and you would need permission. And yes, that is true of anybody who is hourly paid. So if you are taking photos and you're seeing content of other ambassadors, let's say taking pictures or video content on a beach and they're clearly not in store, that is because they are an exempt colleague. So exempt colleagues have a different protocol for their work on Style Crew versus our hourly colleagues. So exempt colleagues can work off the clock because they're paid one lump salary. So if they want to work at night, they want to work while they're on vacation, they totally can. Hourly colleagues have to be paid and their work has to be accounted for. So that's the difference.
I have one last question.
Yes.
When you post, are you posting using the Macy's Style Crew and I work at Macy's hashtags only for things that you are posting for Macy's, or is that for all of your social media?
No, so you're only going to want to use those two hashtags and those two hashtags side by side whenever you're creating a post on behalf of Macy's. So I always think of it this way, like if I'm posting about an outfit that I just bought and I want you to come to Macy's to buy it, I need to use those two hashtags together. If you're just talking about a sandwich that you had at lunch and you happen to be, wearing a sweatshirt from Macy's, but your post is not about Macy's, then you don't need to put those two hashtags, side by side. So just think about what the intent of the content that you're posting, and are you ultimately trying to drive a follower or a potential customer back to your link to make a purchase at Macy's? All right. Any other questions? Someone just asked about salaried employees. There's a lot of different roles at Macy's, and different people have different statuses as far as being paid, whether you're paid on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, or bi-monthly basis. There's just different types of colleagues, and depending on what type of colleague that you are, that legally dictates how you can operate in Style Crew. So most of our store colleagues are hourly, and so that's why we're saying that it's important that you are always doing your Style Crew work while you're working. There are exceptions to that, but you need to work directly with your people leaders to get any approvals where you're able to create content or work on Style Crew outside of your working hours. So again, work with your people leaders. Everybody's situation is different and unique, so it's hard for us to give guidance because we don't work in your roles and we don't work in your stores. So again, rely heavily on your people leaders for any direction as it relates to when you can work on your Style Crew. Somebody here is asking about the use of hashtag ads. So those of you who've been with the program for a while may have remembered at some point in time, if you received like a seeded product from a vendor, that we used to have to do hashtag ad. That is not something that we have to do anymore. As long as you are using the two hashtags side by side, that signals that you are creating content on behalf of Macy's, you are an approved official Style Crew ambassador, and that it is sort of a given, it's sort of given that you are creating content and that you're being incentivized or rewarded for the contribution that you're doing. So there's no need to do hashtag ad anymore. All right, it seems like it's quiet. We have 2 minutes left. We might have time for one last question if anyone has one. All right, Adrian, any updates? Anybody else want to say anything before we leave?
Good on my end.
Okay. All right. Thank you all for joining us today. This session is being recorded. So if you're hearing from colleagues who didn't get a chance to join us today, we will be sending this out in the upcoming newsletter. There'll be a link so that you can watch it again. Thank you all. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, everyone.